Good afternoon, everyone. If you all could please get seated. I hope you all are enjoying your lunch. Once again, my name is Amber, and I happen to also be the social media content manager for Sports Vision's TV and radio show. If everyone could pull out their phones, because I know in 2018, most people have a smartphone. So if you have an Instagram, if you could please follow us at Sports Visions TV. Once again, pull out your phone, go to the Instagram app, and type in Sports Visions TV and follow us. Now, if you take any pictures during the show or during this time, you can use the hashtag SportsVisionsUSA. But please, in the meantime, you can follow us also on Facebook at Sports Visions TV Show and on Twitter at Sports Visions US. But for now, if you follow us on Instagram at Sports Visions TV and follow us, you might be in for a treat. You never know what could happen if you follow someone on social media. With that being said, a lot of you all are very smart and intelligent athletes, and you all have a bright future ahead of you. And with that being said, a lot of times people get in trouble for things they post on social media. I'm not here to preach at you or talk at you today, but I just want you all to be aware that your reputation can be ruined in less than 30 seconds by everything that you post on social media. Once again, a lot of you all are headed to college. A lot of you all have bright futures ahead of you. And I just want you all to realize the importance of what you post. It's a reflection of not only you, but whatever team you're on, whatever school you represent, whatever job you may get in the future, those things follow you. And I'm not here to scare you. Social media has its good things that can happen from it. But in the meantime, just be cognitive and aware. So many college athletes go off to school. So many different players go to different teams, and all because of one little thing they posted, whether it was an offensive slur, whether it was an inappropriate picture, those chances, their scholarships can be taken away. And I just want you all to realize that. But in the meantime, just follow us on Sports Visions TV on Instagram. Thank you. Have a good day.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to introduce a coach that really doesn't need an introduction. He could be anywhere in the world, but he's right here in Columbus, Georgia, to help us honor and celebrate our coaches and student athletes. Put your hands together for Coach Saban. It's okay. You can stand to your feet if you'd like. Want the mic up?
Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, I get some of these introductions sometimes, and I certainly do appreciate it. It's a great honor to be here today, but people always remember a lot of the good things that you did. They remember the wins, they remember the championships. But sometimes as a coach, I remember some of the other things that happened. Like 12 years ago, my first year at Alabama, we lost to ULM. I don't know if anybody knows what that stands for, but it's one of those directional schools in Louisiana that you're never supposed to lose to when you're in Alabama. University, Louisiana, Monroe. And it was our first year. We're trying to establish a program. We had 5 starters suspended for behavioral issues. We turned over the ball 6 times. It was probably the most humiliating defeat. Not because we lost the game, but as a coach, you always look at how your team played. And I was devastated by how we played. Lack of discipline, lots of bad things. So I'm the most humiliated man maybe on the planet. And when the game is over, you can't just go hide, you know, when you're the head coach at Alabama. You got to go talk to the team, try to explain to them how we got to use this to try to get better. You got to go talk to recruits and try to explain away why they should still come to Alabama or be interested in coming to Alabama. You got to go to a press conference and explain to your fans, all right, why you played the way you played, and you have to be responsible for it. All right, so after all that, do your TV show, I'm just like down as I can be. And now I get in my car to drive home, and my car is empty, no gas. So now I'm going to have to stop someplace and get gas. So I stop and get gas, and of course we had won the national championship at LSU when I was there, and I had my ring on, so I pump my gas, and I go in and pay the guy. And he says, "Wow, what's that?" And I said, "Well, that's a national championship ring, and we're going to do the same thing here at Alabama." And he said, "We'll never do it while that Nick Saban's a coach." So we've had our ups and downs through the years, too. We've had our opportunities to learn. And then just 2 years after that, which was 2009, we beat the Texas in the Rose Bowl to win the national championship. So I'm from West Virginia, and I grew up pumping gas at my dad's service station, all right, working on cars, because it was a service station. I mean, it was full service. And we were out in the country where the coal mining towns were. So I always had tennis shoes and white socks. All right, but they decide that back home, we won the national championship. We want to have a celebration for Coach Saban and his family for winning a national championship. So when I was growing up, I met Miss Terry. She was in the 7th grade. I was in the 8th grade. We met at science camp. I don't know how I got picked to go to science camp from my school. We went to different schools. All right, so I always liked her. I always wanted to go out with her. And she would have absolutely nothing to do with me, nothing at all, because I was country. I was country, white socks, tennis shoes, grease under my fingernails. All right, and she was from the city. And they had penny loafers and Izod sweaters. And, we never saw any of that kind of stuff where I grew up. So she always had this boyfriend named Mickey Schaefer. So she'd never go out with me. So finally, when I was a senior and we were doing really well in football, she finally went out with me. But I go back for this celebration, and I find out that Mickey Schaefer has a service station. So I say, man, I am not going to miss the opportunity to drive Miss Terry by and show her where she might have ended up, or should have ended up with him. So we're going to the celebration, and I kind of veer off and go the wrong way, and she said, "Where are you going?" And I said, "I want to show you something." So we drive by his place, and I say, "See, this is where your boy Mickey Schaefer is now. That's where you'd have been if you'd ended up with him." She said, "If I'd ended up with him, he'd be the head coach at Alabama now." So, but I would like to congratulate all the players, all right, that are here. Obviously, you guys did a lot of hard work. We're very committed to what you did, to being a good teammate, and you had a lot of success individually and hopefully collectively on your team. And you're obviously here to be honored today, and I'd like to congratulate all those guys. And I'd also like to congratulate all the coaches for what you do to help these young men have an opportunity to be more successful in life because of the lessons that they can learn through you, from you, in terms of your leadership. And I want you to know that I appreciate what you do more than you could ever know, because my high school coach, other than my parents, probably had the greatest impact on me and my future based on some of the lessons that I learned when I was 14, 15, and 16 years old, that helped me have a chance to go get an education and have a chance to have some opportunity to take advantage of and hopefully create some success in my life and something that I enjoy doing. So for every coach out there, I want you to know that what we do right now is probably more important than ever, because young people don't get the opportunities to have a chance to learn things that they learn from something they enjoy doing in a competitive type of environment, which may not get created in some other place in their life. So I think it's really important what you do, and I certainly appreciate that more than you know. I get asked the question a lot, what does it take to win? What does it take to be successful? And, people talk about preparation. They talk about having a good game plan. They talk about having a foolproof system on offense, defense, and special teams. They talk about having ability to adjust in the game at halftime or whatever. All right, but really the most important thing in being successful and the most important thing that it takes to win is you have to have the right mindset and the people in your organization. And that starts with everybody in the organization knowing exactly what their vision is, knowing exactly what they want to accomplish, and knowing exactly what they want to do. And I'm talking about individuals now. You know, everybody says all the time there's no I in team, but there is an I in win. And that stands for the individuals and the sense of urgency that they have in terms of their commitment to what they need to do to accomplish the vision that they have as an individual, not just as a team. And that's really what I'm talking about now. So whatever you want to accomplish, and I have every player on our team come in when they get there, and I say, I want to know what your goals are for what you want to accomplish while you're here at the University of Alabama. And I want the guy to say, I want to get an education, I want to graduate from school and develop a career off the field, and I want to play in the NFL someday. That's the two things that I want the guy to say. All right, because we're going to define, and we have a define, everybody calls it the process. This is what you have to do to accomplish these things. And that's what everybody's got to be committed to, and that's what your behavior has to correspond so that the habits have to correspond so that your behavior is helping you do the things you need to do to have a chance to be successful. Who do you need to work with? What kind of discipline do you have to have, which is probably the most important thing. Because the third part of that is you want to do these things, here's what you have to do it. No different than any of us wanting to lose 10 pounds. That's our goal. Slim Fast tells you exactly what you can eat every day, every meal, every plan, everything you have to do. It's not an issue. That's the process. That's what we have to do. Discipline to execute it every day. That's where we all struggle. What is discipline? I'm sure there's some sign up in every one of these high schools around here that says discipline is doing what you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, the way it's supposed to get done, do the right thing, the right way, the right time, all the time. But self-discipline I define as this. Here's something I know I'm supposed to do that I really don't want to do. Can you make yourself do it? Over here, there's something you know you're not supposed to do, but you want to do it. Can you keep yourself from it? So if you can make those two choices, and we make them 100 times a day, all of us, in terms of all the things that we get confronted with, if you can make those choices and decisions and have the discipline to do those things, then you'll be able to stay on the path of what you have to do to accomplish the goals that you have. No different than that diet that we talked about. Because what you have to overcome to be successful is feeling versus choice. How many times as parents out there or as coaches do you hear people say, young people say, I don't feel like studying. I don't feel like going to class today. I don't feel like getting up and going to work. I don't feel like practicing. It's not about what you feel like doing. If you have a goal and something that you want to accomplish, then you have to choose to do the things that you need to do to accomplish the goal. You can't do what you feel like doing because those behaviors don't always match up. Don't tell me you want to play in the NFL. Don't tell me you want to graduate, and then I bring you in my office and your behaviors don't match that up. You're not going to class, and you say you don't feel like practicing. So those behaviors don't match up to do the things you need to do to accomplish the goals that you have. And all of us have to, at some point in time, make these choices and decisions based on our vision or based on our circumstance. All right, when we focus on the circumstance that we're in, that's what creates problems in us being able to do the things that we need to do to accomplish the vision that we have. You know, Chuck Pagano, who was the coach of the Indianapolis Colts a few years ago, had cancer, missed the whole season, had 4-stage cancer. He beat it. All right, but when their team got in the playoffs, there was a speech on CBS, you know, in the locker room after the game, and there's one part of that speech I remember. And he said, I'm going to focus on my vision, not my circumstance. My vision is I want to see my daughters grow up and I want to dance at their wedding. My circumstance is I have cancer. So he focused on his vision, and he actually beat the cancer, and he's cancer-free now and doing very well, and his daughters are growing up, and one day he will dance at that wedding. So having a goal, having a vision for what you want to do, having the discipline to stick to the process and make the choices and decisions that you have to do to accomplish that is really significant to being successful. And everybody's got to understand out there, and every one of you players especially, you know, the road to success is always under construction. Success is not a continuum. Just because you're successful today, you're getting an award today, you just won the last game, that doesn't mean you're going to continue to be successful. It's not a continuum. It's momentary. It's what happens now. And then what becomes most important is what do you do next. All right, but it's not the human condition, all right, to get an A on the first test and then say, I'm going to get the highest grade in the class. The human condition is get an A on the test. Oh, I can take it easy for 2 weeks, make a C on the next test, have a B average, and I'm very happy with that because I did good. I did well. That's good enough. But that's not good enough to really be successful because you're being complacent. And complacency creates a blatant disregard for not doing the right thing. You think that you don't need to continue to do the things that helped you be successful. And this doesn't make, this is the same if you're selling cars, all right, or if you're trying to be a good football player or you're trying to graduate from school. Whatever you do, you have to continue to challenge yourself and focus on what's in front of you, the challenges that are in front of you, and don't look back, always look forward. All right, because people ask me all the time, how do you continue to be successful? That's what we have to do. We have to teach our players. They're only good as their last play. They're only as good as their last game. Every time they have to focus and prepare, and it should be about them trying to be the best players that they can be. It's the only way you're going to be successful. You know, Kobe Bryant was very interesting when he came and talked to our team. I always thought he was a great athlete. I never knew what kind of a person he really was. And this is one of the people, as a person, makes me have the ultimate respect for what he accomplished and what he did. You know, one of the players asked him a question, what motivates you more? How much you love to win or how much you hate to lose? He said neither one. What motivates me is I want to be the best. I want to be the best player that I can be. I try to be perfect. I know I can't be perfect, but I'm going to close the gap on perfect in my performance because I'm going to work every day to do it. Next question. How did you score 60 points when you were 40 years old in the last play that you ever played, last game that you played in your career? And he said, I worked 8 hours a day for 365 days out of the year so that I could play that season. They don't put that part on ESPN. All right, so here's a guy that is one of the greatest players of all time, and he continued to try to be the best player that he could be. You know, I talk a lot about self-respect. We were playing Vanderbilt a year ago. They were 3-0. All right, we're 3-0. And as soon as we go 3-0, I'm thinking, how am I going to get our players up to play Vanderbilt? They don't have a lot of respect for them. They are a little better than they usually are. All right, so this is going to be a little tougher game. We got to play up there. So one of their players gets on ESPN after they beat Kansas State and says, Bama, you're next. So now our guys, they're ready to go. I don't have to say anything. So we go up there and play the best game that we played all year. I think it was 65-0, like maybe at halftime. All right, and I'm trying to figure out how not to score. But the question that I had for the players after the game was, you all felt disrespected by what this player said. Now, you wouldn't know the guy from Adam's House Cat if he walked in the room right now. Nobody would recognize him. Nobody would know who he was. But he put it out there, all right, that you're next. So you all felt disrespected by this guy. So that disrespect really motivated you to go out and play great, which you did, and I appreciate. But why do we need that guy to do that? If you have any self-respect and you want to be the best player that you can be, you want to be the best person you can be, you want to be the best student that you can be, why do you have to have somebody else dog you, all right, to motivate you to get ready to do that? What about your self-respect of knowing you did your best to be the best you could be? So nobody could answer. Got no answer, got no response. All right, but that's a question really for all of us. You know, I talk about success. is not a continuum, but to be successful, and most of us work in some organization with other people, we need to be positive and affect other people in a positive way that are around us. And it takes a little otherness. You know what otherness means? You put the other person first, all right, so that you can be positive, all right, about how you affect the people around you. And it goes a long way in terms of being a leader. If someone's going to be a leader, the first thing you need to do is set a good example. You got to be somebody that somebody wants to emulate. And you got to care enough about another person to help them for their benefit. Not for your benefit, that's manipulation. For their benefit. And it may be something as simple as teaching them to do something a little better, a better way. All right, because if you're going to be a leader, you have to serve other people. Never pass up the opportunity to say, I appreciate you. Never pass up an opportunity to tell someone they did a good job, all right, because we really want to serve other people. That'll make you feel better about yourself than anything that you can do. And I always ask people a question, and you can ask yourself this question and do a little inventory on yourself, is how do you pray? Do you pray to be blessed, or do you pray to be a blessing? Somebody else has to bless you. You can be a blessing to everybody that you meet every day by how you treat those people, how you think of them, and how you help them along the way in terms of your impact and your positive energy and attitude on what they do. So helping others. You know, people only remember one thing. How did you make them feel? That's all they remember. In the long run, that's all they remember. When they meet you, when they talk to you, how did you make them feel? So if you really want to create value for yourself, you have to be positive, and other people have to say and feel good about how you make them feel. And that's hard because everybody's self-absorbed. They think about how it affects me, and you got to go to the otherness part. How does it affect them? And that's really important. So if you're going to have a successful team, everybody's got to work to the same standard. You know, everybody's got to understand. You got to keep focusing on what's in front of you. You got to be positive in your work. All right, but if you're going to have any team chemistry in your organization, everybody's got to work to the same standard. And if you don't, you're not doing anybody a favor if you don't make them do that. If you don't confront and demand that they do that. Because you're never going to have any team chemistry in your organization. Because if you got these people over here half-stepping and these people over here working and doing the job that you want them to do, they're never going to respect each other. Mediocre people don't like high achievers, and high achievers don't like mediocre people. So if you let it coexist on your team or in your organization, you're never really ever going to have any kind of team chemistry. And then ultimately, everybody out there, and I'm talking to the players mostly, you got to be responsible for your own self-determination. What does that mean? You got to be accountable to do your job. And it can't be somebody else's fault just because things don't go the way you want them to go. You have to take responsibility for that. You have to understand somebody defined what I was supposed to do. What part of that did I not do well? And then go get it fixed, all right, so that you have a chance to be successful and be the best that you can be. And then the last thing kind of goes back to what I talked about before. How about your pride in performance? What kind of self-respect do you have to be the best that you can be at whatever you choose to do? To me, you'll never have more happiness in your life than knowing you did your best to be the best that you could be, no matter what you choose to do. So you got to think of others. You got to believe and trust in something. And you know, you can't trust anyone. And I tell my kids this, I tell the players on our team this. I can't trust you if you don't tell me the truth. So everybody's got to tell me the truth. Tell my kids, you got to tell me the truth. I can't trust you if you don't tell me the truth, and we can't have a relationship if I can't trust you. So how much value does that have? And that's true in any organization. That's the only way you're going to have that. So you got to think of others, but we also got to believe in something, and we got to believe in principles, and everything starts with trust and respect. And people have to respect each other, and they have to trust each other. All right, and everybody's got to be grateful. You've got to be grateful for the gifts you have. All you players back there, all right, God gave you great gifts. You should be grateful for that. And you should thank your coach. But every coach should thank the players, like I thank our players at the banquet. But every thank you has an IOU. You thank somebody, that means they did something for you, they helped you do something, then you should think that I have to do something to make sure that I don't disappoint in terms of how people help me. You know, this happened to me when I was a kid. I was 9 years old. I played second base on a little league team. All right, baseball, Carolina, coal mining town. Jocko Anderson was my coach. I still remember him like yesterday. I was the smallest kid and the youngest kid on the team, and I played second base because that's as far as I could throw the ball to get it to first. All right, so he used to hit me extra ground balls all the time, and my dad would come and pick me up, and one day I said, hey, thanks, Coach, for hitting me some extra ground balls. And we were walking away, and my dad said, you know, that thank you has an IOU. I looked at him like, what are you talking about? He says, you owe that coach all of your trust and respect, and you owe that coach your very best in everything you do because he's put everything he can in terms of helping you be able to be successful on the field. No different than when I thank our players for the great effort they gave all year this year to go 13-0 and win the SEC. I thank them all for that, but I owe them my best to help them be successful as people, as students, and as players, and as well as best effort for them to have a chance to be successful in the next game. So all these things are about pride in performance. And I'm going to close in something that with something that you probably heard me say many times before. I probably said it when I was here before. Is Martin Luther King gave a sermon probably 70 years ago, and he talked about there's only one guy that I'll let shine my shoes in the green stamp store in Montgomery, Alabama because of the pride that guy has in shining shoes and the smile he gets on his face when you tell him what a great job he did in shining your shoes. And then he goes on and says, if you're going to be a street sweeper, be the best street sweeper in the world. Sweep the streets like Michelangelo painted a Sistine Chapel, like Shakespeare wrote literature. Put a sign up that says the best street sweeper in the world lives right here. And if you do that, you accomplish the best there is in life, knowing you did your best to be the best you could be, no matter what you choose to do. That's what I'd like for everybody here. And I think you'll ultimately have a great holiday, and you'll feel great about yourself, and you'll feel good about the people that you affect that are around you. So thank you very much. Roll Tide, and God bless everyone, and have a happy holiday. Thank you.
Coach, we got a special presentation for you. Colonel Townley Hendrick.
Okay, hey, listen, on behalf of General Brito, who's the commanding general at Fort Benning, who's up in the Pentagon fighting for resources as usual, I get to come here today as part of the Columbus Fort Benning team and present you with a little thank you. I also quickly realized that the reason I was invited because who wants to talk after that speech? They're like, oh, let's get the Army to come up there and see what they can say. Coach, we've just celebrated 100 years in partnership with Columbus and Fort Benning. So it's kind of like when we breathe in, they breathe out. That is the teamwork that you find here with these two communities. I will tell you on behalf of the military, I want to thank the coaches. All of us who serve uproot our kids time and time again, and it is the coaches that provide that stability and that immediate teamwork and partnership and a sense of belonging as you plunk your kids down and say, hey, guess what? This is your new home. So I want to thank all the coaches out there for all you do, and I want to congratulate the players. Coach, what I want to tell you is the little red light in my office popped as you crossed the border, so you've got approximately 7 minutes until we've sealed you in, because I think there are some Bulldog fans that would like to have a discussion with you later today. Now, since you're wearing an infantry blue jacket, I can buy you 15 more minutes on the 13th Street Bridge. But on behalf of General Brito and Fort Benning and the Columbus community, this is a follow me statue. The spirit of the infantry is follow me. Clearly, all that you have done with your life and all you've done for players, all you've done for coaches, and the example you set, it is the follow me spirit that makes us think that you are a wonderful person and coach. So I want to tell you thanks.
All right. Man, what a day. This is the part of the program where it has a special place on our heart because we get to recognize these coaches and players. I'd like to call to the stage, and I'd like for you to help me welcome to the stage the football voice of high school football in the Chattahoochee Valley, including East Alabama and West Central Georgia. Tim Marshall is going to come to the stage to introduce all of our head coaches.
Good afternoon. Okay, we're going to acknowledge the high school coaches, and when I call your name, please stand. From Beauregard, Coach Rob Carter. From Brookstone, Coach Blair Harrison. From Callaway, Coach Pete Wiggins. From Calvary Christian, Coach Brian Osborne. From Central, Coach Jamie Dubose. Get your horns up, Devils. From Chatco, Coach Andrew Fowler. From Columbus High School, Coach Phil Marino. From Glenwood, Coach Jason Gibson. From Greenville, Coach Vex Farley. From George Washington Carver, Coach Corey Joyner. From Hardaway, Coach Michael Woodridge. From Harris County, Coach Jamie Fox. From the Jordan Red Jackets, Coach Joe Kegler. From the Cherokees of Kendrick, Coach Andre Slappy. From LaGrange High School, Coach Chuck Gibbs. From Marion County, Coach Chris Kirksey. From the Patriots of Northside, Coach Dave Nunberg. From Opelika Bulldogs, Coach Eric Speakman. From Pacelli, Coach Mark Legree. The Warriors of Russell County, Coach Dwight Jones. The Shaw Raiders, Coach Al Pellegrino. Smith Station, Coach Mike Glisson. From the Green Wave of Spencer, Coach Justin Newman. And from Troop High School, Coach Tanner Gleason. Let's give all of our high school coaches a huge round of applause.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you so much. All right. This next gentleman that I'm going to bring to the stage is a disciple of Coach Nick Saban, and he's also a disciple of Coach Wallace Davis. He came out of Columbus a few years ago. I'm not going to let you know how old he is, but this guy was the poster child for small and not that fast of an athlete. But guess what? He earned a scholarship after a celebrated career at Carver High School, went on to the Ohio State University. That's right, the Ohio State University. Not only did he go up there undersized and maybe not with as much athletic ability as these 4 and 5 stars today, all Tim did was go up and make an impact on the Big Ten. Ended up being a captain his senior year of the Ohio State Buckeyes. Had an opportunity to get into coaching. He did the GA thing. He ended up, and I'm going to let him share with you all of the stops that he's made along the way. But he's come back to us, back to his hometown, to not just share, but to give everything that he had, because he got a lot out of this community, got a lot out of these coaches in this community. Now he's one of the top coaches in the National Football League. He's coached it at the D1 level. I said I wasn't going to give it up. I was going to let him tell you about that. But please help me welcome to the stage Coach Tim Walton.
Thanks, DJ, Dale. I'd like to thank them for giving me this opportunity to speak to you today. Also, I'd like to, he's gone, he had to step out, but I'd like to congratulate Nick Saban for the SEC championship this year. He's done a great job as a coach. I'm a former Carver graduate, former Ohio State Buckeye defensive back. Spent 14 years coaching in college. I was the defensive back coach with Nick Saban in 2003 when we won the national championship at LSU. After that, I spent the last 8 years in the NFL, 4 years with Detroit Lions, defensive coordinator with the Rams, St. Louis Rams, and the last 3 years with the Giants. At this time, I would like to share with you a little bit about my foundation. I run a Stay Ready Foundation, all right? And the foundation is about resources and tools that we give men and women about staying ready for life. See, life affects everybody. It affects all of us. Talks about how to overcome adversity, how to handle success, goal setting, financial literacy, discipline, work ethic, character, how to treat others, normal things that you deal with in life. Those are the things that we share and we go through in our foundation. So I would love to have everybody come out June 20th, all right, 1 to 5 at Carver High School. We're going to have the foundation. We have a lot of dynamic speakers come in, a lot of great women that speak. Anita Howard spoke a year ago. It was outstanding. It's dynamic. People from Aflac. We have people from all the business world. It's about dealing with life and dealing with things that we all go through. And we get a chance to talk about it, all right? Get a chance to talk about it. Before I finish, I want to talk about something. Why do you do what you do? What's your why in life? I think everybody needs to try to figure that out. What's your why? Is it to take care of your family? Is it for money? Is it to prove your doubters wrong, or is it to prove yourself right? Those are the things that we need to answer about ourselves. And I always tell the young men and women as we're talking through them, once show up in conversation. Your expectations show up in behavior. Your behavior has to be aligned with the things you want to achieve in life. All right? I'm going to say that again. Your behavior has to be aligned with the things you want to achieve in life. All right? You have to raise your standards. Raising your standards is the only thing that creates lasting change. You got to turn your shoulds into must. And finishing, success. Coach talked about success. Success is never owned. It's rented, and the rent due every day. All right? It's never owned. It's rented, and it's due every day. For all the people that's out there, high school guys did a great job this year. You have to put it behind you and start on it next year. Start on it. That's what life is about. All right? It's full of ups and downs. In the Stay Ready Foundation, we'll go over those things. We'll get a chance to share the things that we give back in life to help people deal with it and have conversations. We have a lot of people that had a lot of different roles in life, a lot of experience to come back and share that. So on the table, I put down some cards. So some business cards on the table about the foundation. All right? www.stayready.com. You can look it up on the website. I'm on Instagram, Tim Walton 18. All right, and all that stuff is on there, so you can go research it and see what we try to do to give back to the community to try to help our young people grow. And it's for older people. Now, it's for anybody in life, all right, because life deals with all of us. All right, so I just wanted to take time. I appreciate Dale and DJ giving me the opportunity to come up and share that and try to get as many people as we can to come out in our community so we can make this the best community in the world. All right? Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
All right. Now, our goal was to get you out of here at 1 o'clock. Our goal was. But we're going to try to get you out of here by 1:15. All right? Now, here's the part of the program where we're going to expedite a little bit. Help me welcome to the stage WLTZ News sports team. Brooke, where are you? All right. Put your hands together for Brooke and Scott as they make their way up to the stage.
Hi, thank you, DJ. I I guess we'll speed this up. Scott and I are here to introduce the players that are here today. And just for starters, I'd like to say thank you to DJ and Dale for always putting on a great event. So we'll get this started with Beauregard, Isaiah McKissick, and Quandarius Whitlow. And go ahead and stand up. And Brookstone's Jeremiah Burgess, Wills Cottrell. Go ahead and stand up. Callaway Keandre Jones and Telly Fanning. Calvary Christian's Aaron Christopher and Jacob Evangelista. Central's Amante Spivey and Xavier Billingsley. Chatco's DeAndre Maston and Kedrick Harvey. Columbus High School's Donovan Carter and Bryce Owens. Glenwood's Bryce Valero and Nathanel Trizpek. Greenville's Chandler Neal and Caston Brooks. Carver's Jalen Joyner and DeCorian West. Hardaway's Jerron Early and Kevon Peterson. And Harris County's Chris Hardaway and Maverick Crownheart Swan.
All righty, we're getting the shot. Jordan, Emmanuel Mann and DeQuandre Sullivan. From Kendrick, Rayshawn Hill and Willie Hewley. From LaGrange, Jonathan Sutton and Dexter Fitzpatrick. And from Marion County, Trayvon Matthews and Kendrick Hawkins. From Northside, Fred Davis and Will Keller. From Opelika, Cade Blackman and Jalen Stinson. From Pacelli, Joseph Douglas and Bridge Pepper. From Russell County, DeAndre Hartwell and Miles Bryan. And from Shaw High School, Andrew Lacey and Kevin Mabin. There we go. L.C. Harris and Kyron Hall from Smith Station. And from Spencer High School, Trey Lee and Robert Murray. And last but not least, from Troup County, Kobe Hudson and Keen Makuta.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, coaches and players, immediately following the ceremony, we're going to have a stand right outside a table with the trophies for you players and a gift for you coaches. So don't forget, right outside in the foyer, right outside the door of this room, stop by and pick up your trophies and gifts. All right, let's get on to the specialty awards. We have an opportunity to, of course, not only show off our players, but show off of our local sports personalities throughout the Chattahoochee Valley. And first to make the first presentations on these specialty awards is a good friend, and of course, he's been in this industry a long time and in this region a long time doing sports on the radio and as well as doing a great job on television. WRBL's and WOKS's Carlos Williams.
Thank you, and thank you, Dale and DJ, once again for such a fantastic event you have here. Always gives me great pleasure to cover high school sports. I've been doing it for a long time, but I actually have a better time when I go to the middle school games. These players and coaches really get into it, and so it gives me honor to introduce to you the Middle School Player of the Year, the Forrest B. Johnson Middle School Player of the Year. It is Cortez West, a defensive lineman, running back, Fort Middle School. Let's give him a hand, y'all. We'd like the Forrest B. Johnson representatives, if you're here, to come on the stage for a quick photograph. Is Cortez here? All right. He may not be here, but we'll tell you about Cortez quickly. The versatile. Oh, all right, he's coming. Long season, Cortez. This versatile two-way player had a fantastic year leading his team to the Muskogee County Middle School Championship. He rushed for 400 yards with 10 touchdowns. Cortez had 14 sacks on defense now and 54 tackles and a defensive touchdown. So put in quite a year. Let's give him another hand, folks. Cortez. All right, our next award is the Sports Vision's Coach on the Rise Award, and it goes to Corey Joyner, the head coach at Carver High School. While Coach is making his way to the stage, Coach Joyner, of course, led the Tigers to a 9-1 regular season record and a berth in the Class Quad A state playoffs in his very first season at Carver. Coach Joyner is known for making some very good in-game adjustments. His Tigers have won 5 games after trailing at halftime of this year. And on a personal note, I can tell you if you call Coach Joyner and leave a message, he's going to always call you back. Appreciate that. Coach Corey Joyner.
All right. Want to bring back to the stage WLTZ Scott Carpenter to present the next 2 specialty awards. By the way, we wanted to make sure that you had an opportunity to actually see the writers as well as some of the TV personalities, radio personalities, because they spend a lot of time covering these kids. And like I said before, Dale and I, we know what it's like to get hear our name called on the radio. We know what it's like to get up the next morning and see our names in the paper. And, of course, those highlights that Scott and his colleagues do as well.
Yeah. I apologize for any names I get wrong during those highlights. All righty. To keep this going, the Liberty Utilities Outstanding Offensive Player this year is going to go to Kobe Hudson of Troup County. Kobe threw for 3,152 yards and had 30 touchdown passes along the way. He is the Class 5A Player of the Year. And ladies and gentlemen, he right now is committed to the Auburn Tigers. War Eagle. Congratulations once again to Kobe. Let's give him another round of applause. All righty, this next one is the Crown Trophy Student Athlete of the Year. That is going to Hunter Williamson of Callaway High School. Hunter is an academic honor roll student. He takes advanced placement classes, has a 4.25 GPA and a 27 on the ACT, so as you can tell, he's an underachiever. He's also on the National Honor Society and part of the 16 Ways Community Foundation. Let's give it up once again for Hunter.
Thank you, Scott. Our next presenter is the sports director for WRBL. Put your hands together for Rex Castile.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rex Castillo. So let's keep it moving. The Express Motors Outstanding Defensive Player of the Year comes from Carver High School. It is A.J. Watts, defensive back. Now, A.J. had himself quite a year, led the region with 6 interceptions, returned 2 interceptions for touchdowns. He's also one of the most versatile athletes in the state. He is a bi-city and all-state basketball player as well. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, A.J. Watts. All right, our next winner, the Wallace Davis Special Team Award winner is Ben Sloan from Brookstone. Now, Ben has averaged nearly 42 yards per punt, and along with that, he had a 57-yard punt as well. That must be nightmares for the guy who's trying to receive it. And he was also the starting quarterback. Congratulations to Mr. Ben Sloan. up one more time because kickers are people too. Congratulations, Dan.
Give it up one more time for Rex. Our next presenter is from WTVM. His name is Paul Stockman. Come on down, Paul.
Thanks, DJ. All right. This first award is the Houston Clinic Athletic Trainer, and it goes to Andy Grubbs Jr. Congratulations, Andy. Andy joined the Houston Foundation Director of Athletic Training in 2010. In the past 5 years, he served as an associate trainer, instructor, and clinical coordinator at the University of West Alabama. Andy received his Bachelor's of Science from Valdosta State and attended Auburn as a graduate assistant for the Tigers football team and obtained a master's degree in physical education. And he is loved and respected by the student athletes and coaches throughout East Alabama and West Central Georgia. All right, this next award is the Headquarter Nissan Outstanding Defensive Player, and it goes to, from True County High School, King Makuta. King is a two-sport standout, plays football and basketball, helped lead the Tigers to a 12-2 season, a berth in the state playoffs, and a spot in the semifinals. And he was selected to the Under Armour All-America team and is committed to the University of Alabama. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Paul. And, of course, last but not least, our next presenter is the Dean of Sports Broadcasting, of sports broadcasters in the area. Put your hands together for WTVM's Dave Plata.
Thanks again. It is great to be part of this, as it is every season. Great athletes, great people. Here we go. First award, the AFLAC Student Athlete of the Year, Bayard Taylor from Columbus High School. Bayard's carrying a 4.32 GPA. He had a 1390 on the SAT. On the field, preseason All-State in 4A, a four-year starter at Columbus High. We've already all seen the video where he did a 635-pound squat during summer workouts. He also had what was undoubtedly the coolest touchdown of the season, the pick at the line of scrimmage, taking it back in for a touchdown. The AFLAC Student Athlete of the Year, Bayard Taylor of Columbus High School. The next award, the McDonald's Outstanding Player of the Year, and it is Trayvon Matthews of Marion County. Trayvon had a huge season for the Eagles, 177 carries for 1,586 yards, scored 27 touchdowns on the ground, 28 overall. He averaged 122 yards rushing per game as he helped take the Eagles to the state semifinals. In his career at Marion County, he rushed for over 3,300 yards, scoring 54 touchdowns. The outstanding McDonald's Outstanding Player of the Year, Trayvon Matthews, Marion County.
Put your hands together for Dave Plata, y'all. All right. Up next, from Davis Broadcasting, put your hands together for Michael Soul, our next presenter.
Good afternoon. The Chick-fil-A Offensive Lineman of the Year goes to Keandra Jones of Callaway High School. Keandra is an Under Armour All-American and 3-time Max Prep All-American, 2-time All-State player, 3-time All-Region, and 4-year starter with over 52 D1 offers. Give it up once again for Keandra Jones of Callaway High School. Thank you. And now, the Chick-fil-A Defensive Player of the Year from Hardaway High School, Kevon Peterson. Kevon led the region with 12.5 sacks. He also led the Hawks defense with 60 solo tackles. Give it up once again, ladies and gentlemen, for Kevon Peterson of Hardaway High School.
One more time for Michael Soul. All right. Dale, we're going to be the presenters of these next few awards. We'll start with the Supercharged Gridiron Award. This award goes to Peter Parrish, quarterback from the state champion, Alabama state champions, Central Red Devils. Now, Peter's competing in the All-Star game, the Alabama All-Star game, so he wasn't able to make it here today. I think his parents are here, or coach, come on up and accept the award on his behalf. But he's one of the most explosive offensive players in Red Devils football history. He led Central from wire to wire, #1 rankings in the Alabama Class 7A. He committed also to LSU. Peter is currently participating, as I said before, in the Alabama High School Football All-Star game. I got mom coming up, mom and dad coming up. Put your hands together for Peter Parrish's mom and dad. All right, Dale. Now, these two awards are near and dear to our hearts. I'll let you do the honors of the first one. This is the Sports Visions Community Service Award.
You know, throughout our 15 years of being with Sports Visions, we have gotten here on the shoulders of a lot of people, but we've always had some, I guess you call, angel investors, and people always looking out for us, always helping for us. We got a lot in the room. We have people in the room that have helped us for 11 years doing this banquet, but actually 15 years of us being in business. So we always try to acknowledge them. And this guy right here that I'm getting ready to announce, he's been great for us. You would not know him in the room. He's always been helpful for us and Sports Visions. We'd like to recognize as a Community Service Award winner, Henry Fisher-Valey. Did I say that right? Headquarters Nissan GM. We appreciate it. You wouldn't know him in the room, but we appreciate it. Did I kill your name or did I Pete?
Humble, appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
I'm gonna turn around right here. Take a picture.
We have a second Community Service Award winner. And this guy, I tell you, he's a special guy. He's, everybody, patting us on the back and telling us we did a great job. But, we also need some encouragement as well. But this guy, I don't think he's had a bad day. He's positive, brings a lot of energy to the room. He brings a lot of energy to everybody that he touches. And this guy, of course, he came on the scene in a big way. We started our radio show in June with PMB, our new PMB family. And, of course, our second Sports Visions Community Award goes to none other than Robert Make It Do What It Do Good from the Too Easy Group. Come on up, Robert. All right, this next award is very special because not too many years ago, this young man was a two-time Sports Visions Offensive Player of the Year. Now he's doing his thing in the National Football League for the New York Jets. If I can get Isaiah's mom and dad to come up on the stage. The Isaiah Crowell Offensive Player of the Year award goes to Jalen Joyner, the quarterback from Carver High School. Jalen had a phenomenal season this year. Of course, just his first year at Carver. He passed for over 2,300 yards, had 27 touchdown passes, completed 58% of his passes, and he led the offense that averaged over 35 points per game. He quarterbacked the Tigers to 9 wins in his first season. Put your hands together for Jalen Joyner. Congratulations, Jalen. And ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together once again for Mr. and Mrs. Crowell. All right.
Let me do a little house cleaning here. Is Pete Wiggins in the room? Pete, can you come up? We named an award here earlier, and we've had, want to make sure we acknowledge this kid with this award, but we had a glitch, and the trophy is not here. But we wanted to go ahead and give this kid the honor because he deserves it. Katarius Bigsby, is he in the room? Tank Bigsby. Tank, are you in the room? Come on down. We wanted to make sure that we didn't overlook this guy. You know, we had a Steve Harvey moment there for a minute. But I would be remiss and I would not be able to sleep if I didn't recognize this guy. Sharp, too, and you got down here in a hurry. We owe him an award. He is an outstanding player of the year. We do have it. And Trevon, you are a repeat McDonald guy anyway, so we'll take care of you too. We won't give you nothing to take it back, but we're going to do that. Appreciate you, Kirksey. Thank you.
All right, our last award is certainly not last in our minds because this is the Mercedes-Benz of Columbus Coach of the Year. And for the third time in the last 5 years, the winner is Jamie DeBose from Central High School. Come on down, Coach. Coach DuBose, he led the Red Devils to their first Alabama High School State 7A football championship in 25 years. Central was undefeated going 14-0. Come on down, Coach. All right. It's 1:15, and we are about to dismiss this room. Thank you so much for coming. Look, once again, this is all about our kids and our coaches. And we appreciate our sponsors. We appreciate all the folks who supported us. We appreciate you for supporting Sports Visions Radio, TV, magazine, and all of the events that we have.
And just one more item. For you players who receive trophies, remember, they're in the foyer. You can pick them up in the foyer. And also the coaches, they're on the program. Stop by and get your gift also. Let me make sure. Okay, he's there. Okay.
Thank you so much, and happy holidays. God bless.